looks like it's going to be Odegaard. Odegaard goes through it. Beautiful! Absolutely beautiful.
After a slow start to the season, Arsenal are on the rise, now up to 13th spot ahead of the North London derby. But two successive 8th-placed finishes have meant the Gunners ended outside the Premier League's top 6 for the first time ever in back-to-back campaigns.
They've made a really poor start to the Premier League season. There's plenty of time to make up ground there. The domestic cup competitions, they're always able to compete for, but they're not in Europe this year, and so they have to have a reassessment of their priorities. For me, Arsenal's aim this season needs to be pure and simple, to get back into European competition.
They invested heavily in the summer on young players, including Albert Sambi Lokonga. He's impressed since his arrival from Anderlecht, featuring at the top of the Arsenal ranks for attacking passes, and looks to be a good signing for the Gunners' future.
I think Sambi Lokonga is a fantastic signing by Arsenal for both the here and now, but also for the future. He's a young player, but he's got a lot of appearances under his belt already for club, and he's also broken into the Belgium setup. He's young, he's energetic, but specifically he progresses the ball really well. And that sounds simple, but it wasn't being done a lot prior to his arrival.
Werner, and Rudiger scores! Tottenham Hotspur 0, Chelsea 3.
Tottenham, meanwhile, fell 3-0 to Chelsea last time out, their second defeat in a row after 3 wins to start the season. Worryingly for Spurs, the same old problems remain. They've created the fewest chances of any Premier League side this term.
It started well results-wise until their trip to Crystal Palace, where it all kind of fell apart. I do think, from watching Tottenham and speaking to people at and around the club, that some of the early wins were maybe papering over cracks. And the fundamental issue there is a lack of creativity.
The Chelsea game did, however, see Heung-min Son return to the starting lineup after his calf injury. The split in results with and without the Korean superstar is stark. Their win percentage more than doubling. Unsurprisingly, their goals per game shooting up as well.
Spurs' reliance on, of course, Harry Kane, but I would say especially Son Heung-min, because he has been the player to take Tottenham on his shoulders in the multiple injury absences of Harry Kane, is just fundamental. He's an immense player who can turn defence into attack very quickly. He can create, he scores in the biggest games and against the biggest opposition. And without him, Tottenham look lacklustre.
The last North London derby saw Arsenal triumph, despite Spurs taking the lead at the Emirates through Eric Lamella's Rabona. Martin Odegaard and Alex Lacazette from the penalty spot with the goals. In fact, Tottenham have a bad habit of dropping points against their fiercest rivals. They've thrown away 45 points from winning positions against Arsenal, the most of any team against any opponent in Premier League history. After years of dominance during Arsene Wenger's time in charge, the head-to-head has been far more even since his departure in 2018. Both sides have won twice with 2 draws, but Arsenal haven't lost any of the last 10 meetings at the Emirates.
This is a match where form tends to go out of the window. You've seen both Tottenham and Arsenal come into these games over the years off of good runs, off of bad runs, and then the result reverses itself. There are warning signs for Nuno. There are warning signs left, right and centre for Mikel Arteta. It should be a brilliant occasion, as it always is. The atmosphere with fans back in, a full stadium for the first time in a long time for a North London derby, is one that you don't want to miss.